Greetings. We just had our library research workshop today. And now that I have a laptop from IT, I'm going to give you the homework, let you know what's due by Sunday and what's due by next class on Wednesday. And I'm going to give you the lessons that you need to complete all these things. All right, so first, what's due on Sunday is going to be spelling quiz number 3, which is the spelling quiz that we were supposed to take in class today. It's a multiple choice spelling quiz. I'll show you how to get there in a minute. And the controversial arguments chart, that's going to be due on Sunday too. And I'll show you how to get there too. So I'm going to show you how to get to our spelling quiz now. Boom. Here we are. And let me put it in student view. All right, here we are. So our spelling quiz is going to be in the lessons folder. And once you open it, it'll be the last thing there. So you'll click on that and you get 5 minutes to take this quiz. 5 minutes. Just 5 minutes. Make sure you're in a good place with good internet. Don't try to take this on your phone. Don't try to take this on a tablet. Get on a laptop, get on a computer. Make sure you can complete this. It's a multiple choice spelling quiz. All 20 words are there. For each question, for each prompt, there are 4 choices. One of them is the correct choice, and the other 3 are to trick you. So make sure you know how to spell the words before you start the quiz. All right, so take that by Sunday. The other thing you're going to do by Sunday is in the critical essay folder. It is the controversial arguments chart. And yeah, in on this chart, well, let's click on, well, you click right here to get to the chart. It'll open up and you could put your name, your first choice argument, and your second choice argument there. All right, but I'm going to go over um, the critical essay first. And then once you understand how the critical essay works, I want you to come back to this controversial arguments chart and put up your first choice and your second choice argument. I'm going to okay them with a green highlight, or if there's something wrong, I'm going to highlight it in orange. If you can't do it, I'm just going to put it in red. If it's highlighted in orange and you want to revamp it, then take off the orange highlight. That lets me know that it's something for me to look at again. But let's go over the critical essay first. All right, so critical essay assignment details. Let's go here. All right, so our second essay is the critical essay. And I'm going to try to get you your narrative essay final drafts back tonight now that I have the computer to work with. But this is for the critical essay. So it's a controversial argument essay and a compare and contrast essay all in one. 750 words, just like the narrative essay, 5 paragraphs, 5 paragraphs, just like the narrative essay. And it says in this essay, you will argue your point of view on a controversial issue. This essay has a structured order that you must follow in order to exemplify your ability to argue against arguments that your opposition might bring up. So you have an argument, your opposition has an argument, and you're going to defeat that opposition's argument. That's why you have to have a controversial topic. Miss Lakshmi showed us the database called Opposing Viewpoints. And I would like you to think about a controversial issue that you don't mind arguing about. And I would like you to be able to you have to be able to find your issue in opposing viewpoints. I'll go there in a little bit after we go through this sheet. All right, so your topic has to be, or your argument has to be controversial enough so that if you state your argument to the class, somebody in the classroom must be able to oppose your argument and be in their right mind. That's how controversial it must be. That's what makes it a good topic. If you have people who can oppose it, um, and come up with good arguments in opposition, then you have a controversial issue. You also must be able to find research or sources for the opposition. So it can't be something very trivial, so trivial that there's no research or sources for it. And it can't be something so agreeable that there's no opposition for it. I'm going to go down to the paragraph outline here. And this shows how the argument or how the paper is going to be structured. So you have your introduction paragraph. Introduction is the same, always. Attention grabber, main points, thesis statement. The first body paragraph for this essay is, I'm going to call it the summary paragraph. This is an unbiased paragraph about the topic. So you're going to give background information here. Give background information. Don't make an argument in this paragraph. You're just bringing your audience up to speed about what the issue is. This is a strategy. The way that this argument is set up is a strategy. You're going to give this background information, this unbiased information so that so that your audience feels that it can make up its own mind about the issue. But that's just an illusion. You're just making your audience feel that they can make up their own mind about it because you're going to be so persuasive that whatever you want them to think, that's what they're going to think at the end. So give background information. Have a topic sentence, support details, examples, and a transition sentence. I'm going to give you the lesson for a transition sentence after this. It'll be down below this video. After your unbiased paragraph, your summary paragraph, you're going to give the opposition's argument paragraph. This is where the opposition makes their argument. So your topic sentence is the opposition's argument for this paragraph. You'll have a quotation sandwich, and that'll be a lesson below this video too. You have support details, examples of the opposition and its argument, and a transition sentence. And the last body paragraph is the your opinion paragraph. This is where you're going to give your argument defeating the opposition. So the topic sentence is going to be your argument. It's going to be your argument, the thesis statement. They're going to be very related. They're going to sound the same. They're going to be the same thought. You're going to give support details and examples, and in that support details and examples, you're going to have a quotation sandwich. The quotation sandwich is that's the method that's the method we're using for our quotes. It's a specific way to format your quotes, and it's very specific. So I'll give you that lesson below this one. Just follow the template. And you're gonna have a conclusion paragraph. Reworded thesis, mention your main points, and with a clincher. This paper is also going to have a works cited page. Just like Ms. Lakshmi showed us, you'll use Galileo and you'll get that citation button where the MLA formatted works cited entry is already formatted for you. All you have to do is copy and paste it onto the works cited page. And I'll go through works cited pages with you again later. All right, so there are some banned topics. These are topics that you are not allowed to do. So you're not allowed to have any papers on abortion, no papers about gun laws, no papers about marijuana, no papers about Xbox or PlayStation, no Android, iPhone, no Mac PC. I read all the pro-life, pro-choice papers that I care to read. I don't want to read anymore. I'm bored about them. I'm bored with them. Don't bore me. No gun laws. Nothing new about gun laws has reared since I don't know when. Um, it all falls into that same gray area. Marijuana. I've read all the papers about marijuana and why it should be legalized or not. I don't want to read anymore. Don't do it to me. Xbox versus PlayStation, Android versus iPhone, Mac versus PC. I used to teach at a very tech-heavy school, and this is all the students want to write about. So I read all those. Don't do these. There are plenty of other topics that you can choose from. Choose from those. Let's see, is there anything else in here that I want to talk about? Um, I don't think so. All right. So once you choose your topic, as long as you can find your topic in opposing viewpoints, let's see if I can get there from here. Yeah, as long as you can find your topic in opposing viewpoints, then the topic is good. And as long as it's not a banned topic. So here we're at the library website again, and we're going to go to LibGuides and databases. And we're going to scroll down and you'll see these boxes here. Right in the middle is Galen context opposing viewpoints. So what I like to do is go to browse all 487 issues. And as long as you can find your topic here on these 487 issues, then it should be good, as long as it's not a banned topic. And sometimes your exact term isn't there, but you can find an adjacent term. For example, I don't think steroids is here. Yeah, steroids isn't here, but um, steroids can be found in drugs and athletes. So you can find it there. So whatever topic you choose, especially if it's a fringe topic, make sure you can find it in opposing viewpoints because you're going to need Galileo and these resources to get your sources. You have to use sources from Galileo. All right, so once you have your topic, go on over to the controversial arguments chart. put your arguments in. And like I said, if it's good, I'll highlight it in green, you're good. If something's wrong with it and it needs work, I'll highlight it in orange and I'll put a note over here in the notes column. Read the note and correct it if you'd like. Some notes for everyone over here. Can I get over there to view it? All right, so it says remove the orange highlights if you make revisions so that I know which arguments to check again. Oh, yes, your thesis statement. Can I get back to the thesis statement and your argument must be a should statement. I'll just go back here. So you need to tell us what should happen. The word should must be in your thesis statement. So make sure it's in there. Your arguments cannot be questions. They must be the answers to supposed questions. So if you're trying to make an argument or a thesis statement and it's a question, you need to answer that question. And your answer to that question is your thesis statement. That's your argument. You need to give us an answer. Don't ask a question. You're writing the paper. You're telling us what something should be or how something should be. Focus your argument on what should happen instead of what should not happen. Saying something should not happen is what's called arguing the negative. And if you argue the negative, you open the opposition's argument up to everything else. So for example, if we say um, marijuana should not be sold in grocery stores, your argument your argument isn't just about, or your opposition and your argument, everything related to that isn't just about selling or not selling in grocery stores. So if you say something that shouldn't be sold in grocery stores, then so where should it be sold? There are a billion other places where it can be sold. Be specific with your arguments. The more specific you are, the easier of a time you will have. So if you put sometimes you might make an argument and I'll tell you to argue the opposite. Just for the sake of the paper, I'll have you argue the opposite. So if the argument was marijuana should be sold in grocery stores, that's very specific. You pinpointed the exact thing that you're going to argue. You're arguing just about grocery stores and where it should be sold. So arguing the negative opens your opposition up to a whole bunch of other arguments. But if you're very specific, you're arguing the positive, then you'll have an easier time and you narrow it down to just that thing. Next, if your argument is based on something intangible that cannot be measured or witnessed, revise it or be more specific about what you're talking about. Yeah, that's self-explanatory. You must enter a first and second choice to receive credit. So you entering your arguments on the controversial arguments chart. This is a quiz grade, an easy quiz grade. Just put your two arguments in there and you get 100. Avoid arguing the negative and the banned topics there. And as a hint about what's coming up in the future, make sure that you are arguing something that you don't mind writing about and don't mind looking up stuff about, because this will be the same topic as our third essay. It's the same topic, it's a different kind of essay. So just make sure that you're going to enjoy thinking and arguing about your topic here. All right, so that's the controversial arguments chart. That's due on Sunday. on for Wednesday, we're gonna have our spelling quiz and I'll put the video for the words that with me saying the words down below. And we'll have our rough draft will be due on Wednesday. Um, and we're going to workshop the rough draft. So I would like you to come in with at least a introduction paragraph for your critical essay. If you do the whole rough draft, I would like you to do it, but you can do it without putting any research in it. So you could do it without any quotes. If you know what your argument is, then you already have 3 paragraphs of it. You have an introduction, or yeah, you have 4 paragraphs actually. You have your introduction. You know what your issue is, so you have the idea for your summary paragraph. You have the paragraph for your opinion, for your argument, and you have the conclusion paragraph, because the conclusion paragraph is the introduction paragraph in reverse order. You would just need to know what your opposition is going to argue against you. So come in with at least a introduction paragraph, and if you can make paragraphs for everything else, by all means do it. Even if they're small paragraphs, we'll fill it in. Because we're going to put quotation sandwiches in 2 of the paragraphs, and that provides quite a few words to bulk up the paragraph already. All right. So next week, so Sunday, take spelling quiz 3, fill in the controversial arguments chart. For next Wednesday, come in with at least an introduction paragraph and review the quotation sandwich lesson and the transition sentence lesson down below. And I'll help you to get a good rough draft on Wednesday next week. All right. Happy writing, happy study. See you later.